Okay. And if you have anything that helps to kind of ground you into your senses in the moment, you can grab that. It might be a special tincture or something that you like to eat or drink or smoke. It might be a smell or a rock that you like to hold. One of my glimmers today is that I'm wearing a robe that makes me feel really happy and enveloped. So, whatever feels right to you is perfect. Oh, yeah. I'm so glad to be back again with y'all. It's so interesting to start this journey all over again together. And I could feel last week when we began that I was both like really elated to be here and also like, do I remember how to do this? Which is always kind of a beautiful thing, right? Any of us who take breaks over the summer, if we're professors or teachers or just like the process of coming back, right? And knowing that we were whole before, but also simultaneously honoring the ways that we have become more whole since the last time we were together. And just kind of holding the tension of that with a lot of reverence and beauty and appreciation. Yeah. So, my invitation to you today is to offer yourself magic and presence without without demanding a particular quality to that presence or magic. Because surely, since the last time you were on this mat and the last time we were together, you have become someone new. And also, you are always and forever yourself. And so, what a gift it is to leave ourselves space to engage with both things and not demand that either one is the ultimate truth. So just take a moment here to take inventory and check it out. What feels right to you? Inventory externally or internally. It might be, if you're feeling sort of scattered, to look around your space and take that in. Just gently and slowly moving your head around the room to take in the data that's around you. Yeah, and just really taking your time with that. And at some point, if you feel like your system has actually sort of absorbed the sense that there is a certain amount of safety or ease in your environment, then it might feel right to close your eyes and to start to scan in that same way inward. But not rushing that part where we land in a place of safety, actually giving yourself room to ascertain it in your own way. Because your system actually really knows how to move at its right speed. And maybe the eyes end up closed or open, but either way, the gaze can start to settle internally. And you're welcome to move as I talk with you about the weaver, or you can rest right here in meditation as I share with you this first Jewish goddess archetype, which holds no particular gender and no particular religious affiliation, even though I'm drawing these resources from Jewish texts, that in no way means that it's just for people of Jewish faith, right? It's for you because you're here. So you're meant to be here. And this is actually the magic of the weaver, is that they know that the things that maybe seem disconnected are actually meaningfully and purposefully connected from the roots up. Right? That things that maybe seem like they don't have threads that tie them together are actually just parts of our experience in the world, of our spirits that were maybe originally part of one larger energetic field, but then, like little specks of stardust, each one of us were sort of allowed to be animated through the process of receiving one little bit of that collective internally, our animating light, our animating force. And the weaver weaves not just physically with thread and yarn things together, but also ideas and energies together. So a weaver might be able to hold in their awareness the reality that even though you and I have two separate beating hearts, that we in fact have a thread that deeply connects us from a time before, from a lifetime before. And the original archetype of the weaver comes from, I think, the weaving of the world, right? The weaving of the universe. The weaving of the idea of what was before the beginning. And in reverence to that, the weavers of, sort of the ancient times would weave these tapestries, batim, or it's the word for houses, tapestries, garments, maybe even worlds as they were weaving, and they would hang them on the walls of the temples or the Sukkot, the temporary structures where people prayed outside during festivals of harvest. So what a beautiful thing when we're doing energetic work, when we're doing the work of bringing disparate parts together, to have something tangible to represent it, right? I mean, I just think about like the therapy work that I do in my own therapy, and how what a joy it is when I get to walk away with something. Maybe it's just an idea, right? Or it's just an image that somehow my therapist and I have conjured up to help me understand how things are connected that I hadn't been able to connect before that time. So in that way, these images, these symbols, these actual objects, like this weaving that I did this week, right? This little embroidery, become kind of the omens, the totems, the artifacts of our own internal voyage. And this is why I'm so obsessed, I think, with altar building, right? Is like what it means, and I'll show you my tray today, what it means to bring all of these little pieces, like, the fluorite that I got in Guatemala, and this crystal that I dropped on the floor and it changed completely, and this geometric shape that's been sitting at the lap of a goddess that's been with me for the past 15 years, and this box from my grandmother, right? Like the idea that maybe they're all just rocks, but then when we bring them together and we place them in a particular way, when we weave the energy in a particular way with purpose, with care, with love, that something greater than the sum of the parts is created. Something to keep us company in the process of traversing the path, which I don't have to tell you, is not always the easiest. It's not always the most comfortable. And so, in many ways, the weaver allows us to make meaning of walking the path of life by drawing pieces together so that we feel in some way fortified. Fortified by the support of earth magic that we've gathered on our travels, right? Fortified by the support of liquids and fires, candles and sacred drinks that allow us to feel like we're drawing these different pieces of the elements of the earth, of the water, of the wind, of the fires, of the magic around us, that we're drawing them in, and we're deeply drinking in sort of the miracle of being made by all of the things that we love. That we are ourselves, right? This sort of like stuff of the body, but that we are also made up of the energetic matter of the things that we care about, that we draw close to our heart. So we think today about all of the people and all of the beings in our lives who have shown us how to weave legends, how to weave interpretations, how to weave rituals and traditions, how to weave words together, how to write, how to weave breath together to make it through a period of hardship and pain, also a period of joy and ecstasy. So if it feels right, you might just Allow them to enter your field here. And maybe the palms turn up as a gesture of openness. Maybe something else happens, a big breath that brings you into your heart or down into your sits bones. And we'll talk a little bit later about weaving the pelvis and support from underneath. But we're just calling in these visionaries that were never not meant to be exactly on our path, so that they could show us just how powerful we can be. And also the responsibility that comes with the energetic work of drawing things together. We can make whole worlds terrifying and beautiful. And what a gift and a privilege it is to sit with that opportunity and think about what kind of a world do we want to be weaving together for ourselves and for each other. So the syllable of Om for me feels like it weaves all the sounds that ever have been and could be, and that's why I like to make it. But if there's another sound that honors for you this idea or this sense of drawing together all of the parts of you and the parts of your teachers and the world, then feel free to make it now. Big breath in together. Jai Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Shri Ma. We honor the Great Mother who offers us the tree, the umbrella that helps us to see how everything is deeply related. And when you're ready, you can make your way onto your mat. You know as well as I do that this class is a suggestion, right? It might be that you just like to lie and listen on the earth, or that you like to wiggle in your own way. The movement is both the most important and the least important part of this journey. Do you know what I mean? Because it helps us to be in our bodies, and also it's a vehicle through which we receive other beauty. And you can see I've got a lot of books around me today, right? So I'm working with this beautiful book called Witchcraft, as well as this book called Pelvic Power today. So a little bit of everything today. Okay, child's pose as a beginning point. Because we begin with the earth. And I'll read to you a little bit about the roots of the mother. And so we call upon earth. This is the element that grounds and grows us. It makes up the land we live on. And some believe that humankind was originally created from animated clay. There are a lot of myths about this in the Jewish faith. Earth is home and body. It offers shelter and is a sacred place for our souls to occupy and learn. We are born from a mother's womb and we are buried in a great mother's tomb. And so we are part of her and she is part of us for the duration of our lives. The words matter, matrix, and mother are all derived from the same root. Plants are strong carriers of this power, each with its own distinct signature and specific applications that can be brought together to create medicine and magic. This is why witches are often depicted with deadly flowers growing in their gardens as well, for they know that creation and destruction are necessary and possible. The magic of the earth is plentiful, accessible, and if respectfully used, available for all. Earth teaches us that nothing is static, even that which seems most still. Stones, bones, and seeds all dwell in dirt, buried treasure that may decay or metamorphosize into blossoming. And on the earth's surface are creatures great and small, a myriad of messengers to aid in this work and to teach us what it means to be aware of the magic that surrounds us. So resting here, feel the roots from underneath you rise up from the earth and start to wrap around your hands and your feet, supporting you as you rise up to tabletop. So both the lift of the spine and the length with your breath animating you, and this anchor, this supportive root around your wrists and your ankles that you can cast off at any time, but also that holds you with love here. Reach your right arm up towards the sky. Big breath in, stretch the root up, and then let it come with you. Thread it through underneath the left wrist. Stretch your left arm out in front of you for thread the needle. Big deep breaths into your midsection, because ultimately above and below and side to side are connected by this middle core part. And so the more we animate it, the more we can weave things that have been kept separate together. Good. Slide your left hand back in. Inhale, swing your right arm up, swing your left shin back behind you, and step your right foot to the back of your mat. So right foot, left knee, and left hand are in line with one another. Reach your right arm past your right ear. Good. Breathe deep into this center space. You're both expanding out and drawing back into that place with every breath. Good. Lift your right arm up, and then right hand and knee down to the floor, round your back. Find a neutral spine. Lift your left arm up, stretch that all the way up, and then left arm back behind your right wrist. Let your left ear soften to the earth or a pillow. Your right arm can reach forward. Slow, deep breaths. And at the beginning of every practice, we're already doing a weaving of sort of like weaving together the remembrance of the last time that we practiced being in the body, wherever and whenever that was, and the being that has shown up on the mat today. Like, how do we allow those two things, past self and current self, to meet with love, without expectation or comparison, but with curiosity about connection and what is generative there? Slide your right hand back. Sweep your left arm up, right shin swings behind you, and left foot steps back. And then long line of energy from your left fingertips out through your outer left foot. Any micro movements here that feel right, moving the left hand. Plug your left shoulder onto your back. Good. Take a deep breath in, and then let the vines anchor you back down to the earth for tabletop. Press the earth away around your back. Inhale, arch your back, gaze up towards the sky. Exhale, round your back. Good. Walk your hands a little bit forward. Tuck your toes. Stretch your tush up and back, downward facing dog. We're going to flow with your breath. Inhale, come forward, high plank. Exhale, drop your knees, chest, and chin down to the earth like a little caterpillar. Cobra pose. Let your belly hug the floor. Lengthen your heart. Exhale to lower child's pose, seat to heels. Take your time. Standing on your shins, inhale, rise up, reach your arms up. Cactus your elbows. Exhale, feel your belly support you. Good. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, sit back on your heels, hands to your heart. Take one breath in here. Full breath out, release your hands down to the earth. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. And walk the feet in towards each other. Feel the left and right side of your body weave and hug together. Come forward to high plank. Strong line of energy through your center. Heels to the left for side plank. Right arm up. You can also come down to your left forearm if the wrist is feeling wonky today. And you might like to flex your toes. But the main focus of this is not falling. Feel free to fall, that's perfect, right? It's to find a center line from your inner ankles, through your inner groin, through the center of your heart, your chin, and your forehead. Good, right hand down to the earth, lift your hips. Give yourself a big breath in, and a full breath out. Inhale, come forward again, take your time. Sternum reaches forward, heels reach back. And then spin your heels to the right for side plank. Left arm lifts up. You're rooted down into the earth, anchored by these vines, but you're also lifting up and out. With that support, you can really expand through the left arm. Good. Left hand down. Lift your hips. Downward facing dog. Walk the feet out, hips width distance. Big breath in. Exhale, release. Lift your heels, bend your knees, walk up to your hands at the top of your mat. Separate your feet, hips width apart. Inhale, halfway lift. Breathe in. Exhale, fold forward. Bend your knees as much as you like. You can drape your torso. Let your head hang heavy. Swing your upper body side to side. And just slowly swinging side to side, keeping your knees with a soft bend. Slowly coming up to standing. Really take your time. Breathing into right and left side. Just gently inviting them without demanding them into presence. God, and the arms can get big here as you come to standing. Just swinging around side to side. Again, take in the space with your eyes. You're just saying hello to the light and hello to your senses. Good. When you're ready, come to center. Swing your arms up. Big breath. And exhale. Swing them back and down. It'll come up behind your tush. Inhale. Slowly rise up. Exhale. Arms swing up and back. Inhale. Rise up. Good, y'all. Exhale, swing it back. This time, catch at the low back. Interlace your fingers. Floss your shoulder blades together a little bit. You can hold a towel between your hands. Lengthen your spine. Deep breath in. And exhale, fold. Hands lift up and over your head if that feels interesting. Good. Gently release the hands. Swing your arms up. Find some momentum. Lift. And exhale, switch opposite thumb on top as you soften down for this forward fold. There's a tendency to get really rigid when we're trying to weave things together, so my elbows always like to lock. So see what can be soft, and can there still be connection there? Again, release the hands, swing your arms up, big breath. Exhale, hands to your heart. Feel your feet rooted on the floor and your sternum lift. Inhale, reach up, palms together at the top. Exhale, melt forward. Take your time, meet the earth. Inhale, step your right foot back, lengthen your spine. Exhale, left foot back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward, high plank. Exhale, knees, chest, and chin lower down to the earth. Inhale, cobra pose, slow. Lengthen your spine. Exhale, seat to heels, child's pose. Standing on your shins, inhale, reach up, arms lift. Cactus your elbows, exhale. Belly supports you. Inhale, reach. Exhale, sit back on your heels, hands to your heart. Hands swim to your low back, zip your fingers together. Press your knuckles towards the earth. Inhale, open your chest. Exhale, melt towards the floor. You could stay right here in child's pose. You could round forward towards the crown of your head and lift your hands up and over in rabbit pose. Try softness instead of tension and see what kind of weaving is possible. If it doesn't work, it's okay, right? It's an experimentation. And if we find that we always meet a certain experience with the same kind of tension, then sometimes it's, when we're feeling resourced, an opportunity to just try and see. Good. Lower your tush back down. Stretch your arms out in front of you. Inhale to tabletop. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Big breath in. Exhale, let it go. Walk the inner edges of your feet together. Again, like you're wrapping vines from the right and left around each other. Come forward to high plank. Heels to the left for side plank. This time, if you like, float your right ankle up off your left. So your legs are a little bit separate. You could stay right here or step the ball of your foot behind you for wild thing. Right knee bent. Let your right arm reach up and back, crack open through the heart. Feel the roots supporting you at your feet, which gives freedom in the chest. Good. Right hand down, right knee to right tricep. Scoop it in. Sweep your right leg up and back into the sky. Step your right foot forward. Slowly up to warrior one. Take your time. Soft jaw, soft breath. Roots grounding down through your thighs, through your feet. And then some space from your navel, through your chest, through your arms. Take a big breath in here. Bow forward, hands by your hips. Peel up onto the ball of your back foot. Make a T with your body, warrior three. And then see if you can swim your arms side to side, letting the lower body find stability as you're just experimenting with taking yourself a little bit off center in the upper body, and let your eyes help to support you as you find steadiness, even if you fall, right? That's actually ideal because you get to practice what it's like to find freedom in the fall. Good. Chair pose. Left foot meets the right. Stretch your arms up all the way up to standing, hands to your heart. Turn your palms to face up towards the sky. And again, just connecting to those teachers who weave the stories that help us to make meaning of our journey. And maybe for a moment, considering the possibility that you are one of those teachers for yourself and for each other. You are a meaning maker, and because of that, you are a magic maker. God, reach your arms up, big breath in. Exhale, melt forward. Inhale, step your left foot back, lengthen your spine. Exhale, right foot back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward, high plank. Exhale, slow lower to the earth. Take your time. Cobra pose. Feel your belly connect to the floor. You don't have to rush it. Exhale, lower. Child's pose, seat to heels. Stand up on the shins, reach your arms up, big breath. Cactus your elbows, exhale. Inhale, reach up, gaze forward. Sit back on your heels, hands to your heart. Good, swim your hands to your low back, other thumb on top. Reach your fingertips back towards your toes, open through your chest. You could stay right here, or coming down for child's pose, or rolling forward onto the crown of your head. As above, so below here, right? We breathe into the ways that seemingly disparate parts are fully connected. And as you breathe into the back of your ribs, you also breathe down into your shins and your toes. Expansion and grounding. Deeply wedded to each other, because one without the other untethers you from the body, and together they fully root and support you in the body. Drop your tush to the earth, stretch your arms out long. Inhale to rise up to tabletop. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Walk your feet together at the back of the mat. Come forward to high plank, let your heart lead. Heels to the right for side plank. And maybe you can lift your left foot away from your right, but feel them connected still. Ball the left foot steps behind you. Peel your heart up towards the sky, wild thing. Full breath, draw it up from the earth, through your pelvis, through your belly. Let it swell in your heart. When you're ready, left hand down, left knee to left tricep. Hug it in. Sweep your left leg up and back. Step your left foot forward, feet on the earth. Warrior one, inhale to rise up. And exhale out through your mouth. Too much efforting in any weaving, and it becomes like too tight and too tense. There's no slack in the line, right? So giving yourself a little bit of wiggle room. Soften your jaw, soften your shoulders. When you're ready, arms sweep back by your hips, peel up onto the ball of your back foot. Warrior three. Greet the earth with your eyes. And then you might like to play seaweed arms side to side. And just remind yourself it's on purpose to challenge the balance. And also to find the artistry, because there's always some magic that can be created, even in an uncomfortable moment. I wouldn't say warrior three is like my butt's favorite thing in the world, right? And there is some magic therein. Good, chair pose when you're ready. Right foot meets the earth, stretch your arms up. Hands to heart, come to standing. Inhale, reach up, gaze up. Exhale, fold forward. Walk your feet out nice and wide, toes out, heels in. Malasana yogic squat. Elbows gently snuggle inside your knees, and your palms can come to support each other. You're extending out from pelvis out, and you're also drawing in up through the toes, inner ankles, inner knees, inner thighs, and pubic bone. And just feel that circuit of energy down and out and up and in through your inner legs into your pelvis and womb space. And every body, regardless of gender, regardless of body parts, has a womb space, a space in the lower belly where Hara, the earth center, is held, where we all create from. And I think we get robbed when only certain people with certain body parts get to explore the role of creator, right? What a missed opportunity when literally every human has the opportunity to create from within and expand out. So if that creative energy takes you up, then great, let's take flight. You could step up onto a block to lift your tush a little bit. You could bring your hands down to the earth. You could practice this little squat, lowering and lifting a couple times, like an adorable little baby ostrich, right? Putting your head in the sand and then lifting up. You could take crow pose if that works for you. Knees can snuggle onto the backs of the arms. Hug your elbows in so they're tracking back by your knees. And then rock your weight a little bit forward. Maybe the toes start to lift. What a gift to have a launching pad, right? To give ourselves a little boost and support. If you can take flight straight from the earth, by all means. But also what a joy to provide ourselves with some elevation and support. Good, play with that as much as you like. You could hop back in vinyasa through. You could simply drop your feet to the earth and step back to downward facing dog. Come forward to high plank. Lower all the way down on your belly, however you like. Setting up for Sphinx pose. Prop up onto your forearms. Yeah, good. Tuck your toes, move your knees and thighs back just a little bit. Just make some space for your tush and your lower back. And then untuck. Spread your fingers wide. And this is where you can really practice the power of your hands. Like they root into the earth. Find the soil underneath the foundation of your floor. And then gently hug it back towards your navel and your pubic bone. Literally finding the support you need from the earth underneath you. And without overly extracting, you're taking just exactly the amount of stability that feels right for your body to find its fullest expansion. God, y'all. And I'll read to you a little bit about the pelvis. As you breathe, feel free to come to seal pose and extend the arms if that feels right for your body today. Anatomically speaking, the sacrum, so the bottom of our spine, consists of 5 vertebrae joined together. At the bottom of the sacrum, we find 3 or 4 leftover bits of vertebra, the coccyx. The pubic bones, the coccyx, and the tuberosities are the 4 cornerstones that make up the foundation of the pelvic floor. This foundation is in the form of a square, the corners of which can be found at the joints between the pubic bone, the tuberosities, and the coccyx. With the help of these corners, we can develop a geometrical understanding of the pelvic floor, which helps us with visualization of our power. The symbol of Muladhara, this is the name of the root chakra in the yogic tradition. The energy center of the pelvic floor is also a square. Thus, the symbolic and the anatomical meet. The other symbol for Muladhara is a 4-leafed lotus flower. Each leaf represents a corner of the pelvic floor. So the thing that drew me the most about this statement was this idea of the 3 or 4 leftover bits of vertebra. And what I love about everything that I've read about this archetype of the weaver is that they take parts and pieces that maybe other people would think, what am I going to do with that? You know, what am I going to do with that like scrap of fabric? Or that small little dream or that small little connection with that person or that idea or that imagining of how I'd like to use my magic. We're going to come to a shoulder opener, so you'll stretch your right arm out to the right, palm facing down. Bend your left knee, reach it over, you'll come onto your side, and your left arm can reach up and back here. And what a gift it is for the weaver to sort of take these little bits that we might not even really think are usable, and start to weave them together into something that becomes whole. Not just a patchwork, right, of disparate parts, but that in the weaving it becomes something else that is complete. It becomes something whole and new. When the temple weavers wove sacred fabrics for the shrines, they were also modeling weaving as a way of understanding the world. We are beings merged and intertwined with others, with ourselves, with our ancestors, the way the weaver's threads merge and intertwine. When you're ready, you can gently switch sides, come back through center, stretch your left arm out to the left, bend your right knee and roll over. In the Western world, we, these days, tend to see creation as a completed action. We perceive our will as separate from the forces that exist outside of us. Like things are happening around us and then we're like, okay, what do I do independent of those things? To cope with those things, kind of, rather than partnering. Our ancestors did not live this way. For them, creation was ongoing, and the world was full of spirits and living presences that affected the human community. Plants and animals might be signs or messengers. Every substance has divinity in it, and every action has the potential to aid the cosmos. The interconnected worldview is similar to the thinking of shamans and mystics around the world, and also to relational ethics. The dividing line between self and other may be biologically and psychologically deeply porous. Ova, eggs, are formed in most babies with uteruses before they are born. That means all of us have some part of us that was inside our grandmother's body. Our bodies blend. So too, we aren't separate from the ecosystems around us. In priestly ritual, every act that anyone in the community performed had not only an ethical, but an energetic impact on the whole. Yeah. Developing a consciousness around ritual today can mean taking one's place as a guardian and transmitter of an ecological understanding of our place in the world, and celebrating rituals that speak to the interwoven nature of things. Come back through center, and we'll zip right and left, top and bottom together. Interlace your fingers, hug your legs in. Feel how things come together at your pubic symphysis, pubic bone at the front, at your navel, and at your heart. Ideal. And when you're ready, inhale to rise up. Hi, sweetie. Theo would like to deeply merge with me as he puts his butt in my face. Big, full breaths here, expanding through the front body and through the back body. Hey, sweetie. And come to rest when you're ready. Soften to the earth. Wiggle a little bit side to side. Good. One more time, locust pose. Zip your fingers together. Inhale to rise up. Less of a crunch in the back, right? And more of support through and across the front plane and the back plane of the body. Good. Come to rest on the earth. Windshield wiper your feet side to side. Bend your knees. And when you're ready, stretch your legs long. Press back to hands and knees. Tuck your toes. Downward facing dog. Lift your heels, bend your knees, step or hop up to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, deep breath in. Exhale, fold forward. Feel your feet ground and spread into the earth. From that support, inhale, rise up to standing. And then wrap your right arm under your left, eagle arms. Inhale, lift your forearms up towards the sky, arc through your upper back. Exhale, bend knees deeply, lower the fingertips down towards the floor. Just let your head and neck soften here. Press down into the floor. We'll do that again. Inhale, lift your forearms, arc through the upper back. Exhale, slowly fold forward, tip your fingers down. This time, inhale to rise up. As you do it, hug your right knee in towards your chest, so shift your weight into your left foot. Exhale, send your right heel back, warrior three shape with the forearms out in front of you. Take your time. The wobble is meant to be here. Inhale, slowly rise up, forearms lift, knee lifts. Feel the four corners of that square, that flower on your pelvic floor, supporting, curling in and lifting you up. And then exhale, slowly stretch it back, warrior three. Take a deep breath in here. Bend your front leg, warrior one in the legs, keep eagle arms. Inhale, lift your forearms up. Exhale, tip towards the earth. You could rest on your thigh or fingertips come inside your front foot. Good. Slowly lift back up, release your arms. Inhale, sweep them up towards the sky. Exhale, swing them to your low back, interlace, right thumb on top. Inhale, straighten your left leg, lift your heart. Exhale, bend your knee, humble warrior, hands lift up and over. Again, tendency to lock the elbows here, right? So can there be a little softness even with the stretch? Gently release the interlace, let your right Fingertips take you up, warrior two. Straighten your left leg. Triangle pose. Part of the reason why we practice these binds in yoga, like binds of the hands or binds of the arms, is so that we can feel what it's like to unbind, right? So we miss that if we rush, right? If we can take our time as we release a bind, you can really feel into what expands a little bit more as I let go of what has been holding me. And it's done on purpose by me. Let your right arm lift you up, pivot around to the back of the mat. Take your time. Lift your back heel up. Hands to your heart. Take a deep breath in. Twist to the right. Left elbow outside your right knee. You can press your palms together here. Good. Spin your heart just gently towards your thumbs. Gaze down towards the earth. Make your back heel springy. And step your left foot to meet your right. Chair twist. You could open your arms. Find center in chair pose. Lift. Exhale. Swing your arms back by your hips. Inhale all the way up to standing. Lift up. Gaze up. Hands to your heart at the back of the mat. Good. Open your arms out to the side. This time, left arm wraps underneath the right. Feet hips width. Feel your strong base. Inhale, lift your forearms up. Exhale, point the fingertips down towards the earth. Fold forward. Good. Inhale, slowly rise up. Lift your forearms. Exhale to release down towards the earth. Soften your jaw. You're going to shift your weight into your right foot as you stand up. Left knee hugs in, arms lift up. Feel that. Take your time. Warrior three. Inhale to slowly rise up. Knee hugs in. You're supported, but you don't have to be tense. Exhale, slowly stretch back, warrior three. Inhale, open a little bit through your belly. Exhale, bend your front knee, step back to warrior one legs. Lift your forearms up, deep breath. Drink in the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Fingertips on your thigh or inside your front foot. Y'all slowly lift up, unwrap your arms, feel what that's like in your shoulders, and then hands swim to your lower back, left thumb on top. Inhale, straighten your right leg, lift your heart. Exhale, bend your knee, humble warrior. Hands can lift up and over your head if that feels right for you. Soft jaw. Full deep breath. Let your left arm lift you up, warrior two. Straighten your right leg. Triangle pose. And releasing the bind. Where can you feel start to reanimate with your breath and with space? Left arm lifts you up, pivot around to the front of your mat, up onto the ball of your back foot. Bring your hands to your heart, take a deep breath in. Crescent twist, right elbow outside your left knee. If your feet are in line with one another, bump your right foot out to the right a little bit for support. Taking up space as we balance is a really big part of what this physical practice is, right? Rather than trying to make ourselves as narrow and compact as we can, Widening your base, giving your body and breath permission to really inhabit fully. Back heel gets springy. You can gaze down towards the earth. Take your time. Step your right foot forward in line with your left. Chair twist any way that you like. Drop your tush back. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, arms sweep back behind you. Inhale all the way up to standing lift. Hands to your heart. Step onto your right foot, hug your left knee in towards your chest. Cross your left ankle over your right knee. Good. And then palms can again turn to face up as you sit back. These Lakshmi arms that we often see when she's seated in meditation, receiving the abundance of what's around her, receiving the magic so that she can weave it together with her forearms. You definitely need more than 2 arms, right? When you're weaving. And simultaneously offering through the palms at the same time. Good. Stretch your arms forward, stretch your tush back. You can take it a little deeper if that feels right. Good, take your time. Slowly come up to standing. Wiggle it out. Wiggle your feet. Wiggle your jaw. Wiggle your hips. Give yourself some room here. Yeah, good. And then we'll step onto the left foot. Hug your right knee in. Ankle over knee. Sitting back, palms turn to face up. And just notice as you inhale into energy coming through your palms and then exhale, sending abundance out through your palms. Is there one that feels more natural to you? One that feels a little bit more practiced in giving or receiving? One actually can't really exist without the other, at least not sustainably. So just noticing which part takes a little bit more concentration and care without judgment here. Tush drops back. Arms could reach forward. Any adjustments that your body's asking for. So perfect. Thank it for communicating with you. All the way up to standing. Release. Shake it out. Good, y'all. Last time, reach your arms up, big breath. Exhale, melt forward. Let it go. Nod your head yes and shake your head no. Big sigh out through your mouth. Halfway lift, deep breath. You can hop back to chaturanga. You could step back to downward facing dog. Let it be yours. Come forward to high plank. Lower all the way down onto your belly. Take your time. Left forearm crosses over the top of the mat. Bend your right knee and reach back with your right hand for your right foot. You could spin your fingertips forward a bit towards your tush. You're just gently hugging the heel towards your glute. Yeah, good. And extend back really gently through your knee. Good. Gently release that foot. Take some circles with the ankle. And then switch sides. Right forearm over the top of the mat. Bend your left knee, reach back. Left leg is just gently hugging in towards center. And you can hug your left heel in as you kick back really slightly into your hand. Good, release. Wiggle it out through that foot, come down to the earth. And feel the vines of the earth's support rise up to meet your belly and low back. Maybe, like me, you get a lot of back tension from sitting throughout a day. So feel these vines rise up and like they're giving you the perfect support. It's like a brace, but without any of the limitation. Just feel that for a moment with eyes closed, these vines filling in any places that are experiencing pain or discomfort. It's not taking it away, it's just providing extra support and nourishment for those parts. Just breathe into the pulse, the heartbeat of that support coming up from the earth. And you might stay with that visualization. You might stay resting on the earth, or you might weave your hands and ankles together, hugging top and bottom towards each other. Right here, resting on the earth, or you can kick back to lift away from the floor for bow pose. But really more like circle pose, right? In that the circle comes all the way up and over energetically and back down into the earth. So you're in deep relationship here with letting your belly soften to the floor, and also with letting the heart and shins lift up and expand. Big breath in. Exhale to release. Let your feet windshield wiper side to side. Slowly press up to child's pose. We're just going to rise up, roll onto one hip, bring your legs out in front of you, and set up for Janu Shirshasana. So left leg will extend. You can turn sideways on your mat if you like, and your right knee will bend. Sort of a tree pose variation. Yeah. Left hand outside your left hip. Inhale, reach your right arm off towards the sky. And then exhale, hand can come inside or outside of that outstretched leg to fold forward. Slow, deep breaths here. And you might like to imagine that these 4 petals of the pelvic floor underneath you are like a tuning fork that you can call on to help you vibrationally reset or call in spaciousness and support when you need it. I think one of the challenges about creating any type of protection is that we want to create protection without blocking everything out, right? And this is where the skill of the weaver becomes essential, because what we're asking to do is really bring together 2 ideas that are seemingly contraindicated. The idea of like protection and like containment, but also deep freedom. Because protection without spaciousness is just blocking, right? And protection with only spaciousness is just a noodle. So the weaver helps us to know how we can bring together these 2 experiences of both freedom and support. So as you're here, sort of curled in towards your pelvic floor, you might just visualize these 4 petals at the corners of a square, curling in sort of towards your perineum, right at the root of you where your legs meet. And with your breath, on the inhale, they just slightly open. And with the exhale, they curl in a little bit, and you feel sort of tucked in like a burrito in your bed. And just breathing into the dynamic quality of this both boundary at the pelvic floor to keep out what is unwanted energetically and physically, and also support, web of support that helps to hold what is sacred to you and draw it in and up. When you're ready, slowly rise up. Plant your right hand back behind you. Press into your right shin. Lift your left arm. Some big circles with the arm. So we closed in, and then we lift up and open. Good. Lower back down to the earth. Thread your left shin on top of your right. Move your shins out in front of you a little bit for double pigeon here. Some space through your spine. And you could fold a bit towards center as you send your sits bones back and down. And again here, any poses where the pelvic floor is supported on the earth, that somatic input can help us to connect to this pelvic root, Muladhara. And you might just say out loud to yourself what it is that you'd like to welcome in to this womb space, this space of creator magic. What it is that you'd like this boundary to allow, be porous enough to allow through. Maybe it's inspiration, maybe it's embodiment, the capacity to feel fully in this space. Maybe it's safety. I want to let in feelings of safety and support. You're allowed to negotiate with the boundaries that you create. So what a gift it is that we get to kind of weave the tapestry ourselves to decide what is let in and what is not. Slowly start to lift up. You're going to take your outer left foot in your right hand, stretch the leg, and reach your left arm back behind you. Just a gentle spiral open. And come back through center, release that foot, wiggle it out a bit, and we'll switch sides. Right leg stretches out long, left foot tucks in towards the inner thigh. You can widen your sits bones a bit. Turn to face your right leg. Inhale, reach your left arm up, lengthen from pelvic root out through your left fingertips, and then left hand inside or outside of your left foot. Your right fingertips can kind of tent behind you. And if this pelvic floor is like a tuning fork, to bring our awareness to what we're welcoming in and what we're protecting and what we're supporting, then sometimes it can feel nice to hum and feel the hum's resonance in all four petals of the pelvic floor. So just as you're turning towards yourself here, you could take a deep breath in and then a low hum. And see if you can feel some gentle vibration right there in your root. When we train in yogic philosophy and in asana practice, we always start at the root, and there's a reason why. Because waking this part up helps to animate all other parts of the self. It's sort of like if we were doing a puzzle, we would do the outer edge so that we sort of knew the parameters of it before we start to fill it in. So just feel into the breath and the rhythm of your own hum and what feels organic to you. Inhale to slowly rise up. Plant your left hand back behind you. Press into your left shin. Reach your right arm up, back, and open. Hips reaching forward. supported and open at the same time. And then lower back down to the earth. Thread your right shin on top of your left. Shins come out in front of you a bit. Take a big breath in, lengthen through your spine, and then maybe folding, tipping a little bit forward. Notice if your chin is what wants to reach. See if it can be your heart reaching and your head is an extension of that. Heart reaching out and down, pelvis reaching down and into the earth. Yeah. And the head can rock a little side to side. When we're in the process of unveiling or rooting or becoming, it's often that the head and neck get really tense. I think it's just like a part that doesn't always trust until a thing happens. The body can trust, but the brain has a harder time. And so we offer it as much support as we can. Sometimes that literally looks like, as I fold, I take my head in my hands. Sometimes it's just remembering that my neck and my brain are both body parts. And I can soften them on purpose when I want to. I think it's a really beautiful question to ask. How much of my body can stay curious and open even as I am alchemizing great change? A few more slow, deep breaths here. Add on any upper body movements or hand gestures that feel right to you. And just offering some sweet breath to this jewel box of the hips that holds so much wisdom from ourselves and from our ancestors. And what a difference, right? Like, definitely in my lifetime, I have heard people refer to it as a junk drawer. But like, just feel into the energetic difference of imagining a junk drawer versus a jewel box. You're actually talking about the same thing, but framing is really important. The ways that we orient to ourselves are the spells that we use words to weave either sacredness or something else. So we have the power always and forever, even amidst incredibly tumultuous circumstances as we currently live in, to weave a spell of the jewel box, of the sacred pieces that we connect that might seem chaotic, okay, might seem interesting, might seem like we're not sure what to do with the material yet. An infinite possibility inside of that box. But this is a very different thing than a junk drawer. This is a junk drawer with deep magic. Now we get to write the spells that help to remind us of our own capacity to weave worlds inside of our bellies. Gently rise up, left hand outside your right foot if you like. You could stretch your right leg out, stretch your right arm back. Feel this navel center help to lift up towards your toes and lengthen you. A vine might extend out from it. Good, y'all. Come on back through center. Grab your block or your bolster or your pillow as you like, so it's by you. We'll take one forward fold here, legs straight out. Wiggle your tush a little bit. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to slowly rise up, lie all the way down onto your back. Setting up for the last 1 or 2 minutes before Shavasana, you might like to do a heart opener on your back. You might like to put a block or a pillow underneath your low back for support. I recommend putting that underneath you after you're already on your back. Or a twist on your back, any final movements. Maybe to help you breathe into this low belly, low back, pelvis space. The creatrix center that invites you into collaboration with the elements around you and lets you be both held and be creating a garment to hold you, to hold the world. So take your time here in these final movements. Yeah, you might like to put your socks on or put a blanket over you. Mm-hmm. And as you're making your way onto your back, maybe a final twist or a happy baby as you hug your knees into your chest. A big part of setting beautiful, sacred, energetic boundaries is actually letting yourself feel cozy while you're doing them. That boundaries don't have to block out all comfort, right? Boundaries aren't meant to be here to block out our support. They're actually here to hold in and to nourish the comfort so that it doesn't feel like it's going to leak out or we're going to lose it. So feeling the comfort wrap around you as you lie onto your back. And wherever you are in rest, bringing your awareness to this pelvic floor, this sacred geometry of the 4 petals at the 4 cardinal directions at your root. And it might take a little while to get in touch with that, right? So you might start by tracking your sensation in your feet and then slowly start to move your awareness up through the ankles, through the shins, through the knees, through the thighs, up to the pelvic floor. And if it feels right for you in your work to stop at an earlier place on the pelvic floor, to stop at the knees or the calves, then perfect. You can really trust that. And know that your unfolding is right on time. And just take a moment here to breathe into either the sensation of the pelvic floor or just the image of it, if that feels like your perfect growing edge. And imagining on the inhale, the petals opening slightly, letting through what we need, the materials we need to be building the world that we're dreaming of. And then on the exhale, a gentle softening of the tips of the petals in towards one another to create a beautiful and right-sized energetic seal of support. slow, deep breaths that let you explore this dynamic, supportive web, both boundary and door that can open. And I'll read to you from our card today, which is the Instincts card. And you can take your time to rest in Shavasana here or come up at any moment if that's calling to you. This Instinct card has the Ayanhara, which is protection from the evil eye, just protection from forces that are not in service of our magic. Now is the time to call upon your inner visionary, cultivating connections and collaboration, using instincts as a guide. Visionaries are excellent communicators who have highly attuned senses, enabling them to navigate and work with their surroundings with precision. They choose to live in alignment with a much deeper force found within. This card appears to acknowledge the visionary aspects of you. You working on mastering focus, strength, and compassion. You are being called to reach out and reach in while harnessing and using your intuition as a compass. So what a perfect card, right? As we talk about this idea of balancing the outer world and what we perceive and the magic that is available there and the inner work that we're tending to. And I think that this is such a beautiful way for us to end our study of the Weaver together, right? This idea of the parts of ourself, the parts of the elements, the parts of the natural world that when used with love and care are available in abundance to support us as we both protect and nourish ourselves so that we can continue to do work to heal through embracing the tenderness of a broken heart. Because what else could we have in this world right now? And what a gift it is to be able to be with our broken hearts and also the beauty of that broken heart and the tenderness and the invitation of that broken heart to have protective boundaries and supports woven around it so that it doesn't need to heal in any fast timing, right? So that it has all of the time and the support and the gauze and the pillows and the love around it that it needs to heal in its own timing, which I imagine will simultaneously come with the birth of the dream of a new world, a just, an honest, a loving world. So I bow to you in this state of flux where we need boundaries and we need support because not all is well, but together we are holding each other in that space of tenderness and dreaming. Om Bola Shri 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 Satguru Bhagavan Ki Jai. I bow to the teacher and the light in each one of you. We bow to all of the teachers who come before us. We bow to our instincts as our highest guides and our root as our deepest support. Thank you all so much for being here. It's such an incredible, incredible honor to be with you.